here, though, is that when we're looking at our cities and we're looking at our economies and we're faced with all this change, we need to understand how to address the changes that we're facing. And there's the old paradigm, especially in city work, is planning our way to the future. City planning is a notoriously kind of stodgy exercise where you basically look at the way you've been doing it for the last 5 years and put a plan in place for the next 5 years that pretty much is the same kind of plan. What we really need to do to address the challenges of these rapid changes is figure out the new paradigm, which is learning our way into the future instead of planning our way into the future. Now, there's some good reasons for planning and traditional planning. You're basically projecting the past onto the future. The focus of the plan is on infrastructure and land use. The idea is that you predict and control change. You manage change in your community in a way where growth is orderly, where industrial development, typically industrial development, is put in places where it's not going to hurt residential users, and you manage the risk of all of that. Now, unfortunately, because of the rapid pace of change, this doesn't work anymore, as I described in the situation last year in Montpelier. So the new paradigm really is about learning our way into the future. Now, learning is very different than planning, because learning implies that you don't know what you need to know to get there. And we didn't know when the ice froze. We didn't know the way to go to get there. We had to start thinking hard and learning from other people's experience about what to do. It has to be vision-driven rather than driven by the past. So it's driven more by the future outcome that you want to achieve rather than by the way you've done it in the past. There often aren't quick fixes. There's no magic bullet for global climate change. But we have to learn how to behave differently, how to run our economy differently to make it work. When you're learning, you have to hold creative tension because you don't know the best solution, and often you have to make a bunch of mistakes to get it right. It's also moving from the old problem-solving paradigm to a paradigm of building on your assets, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. And fundamentally, learning is a respectful and humble enterprise, because you're acknowledging that you don't always know the right answer. And sometimes the answers come from unexpected voices and unexpected places. And so it's more important to make sure all of the voices are included in your process than it is to ask the experts. Because the experts are typically experts from the past, not experts that know anything about the future. So this is a graph that shows the difference between learning in normal times, which is where we've been for the last couple hundred years, where change is occurring on an incremental basis, relatively slowly, and so learning can occur also at an incremental, slow basis. But now we're on the steep line here of change and adaptation, and so the learning itself also has to be a different kind of learning, and I think you've embraced that here at Marlborough, especially in your new MBA program, because you're looking at restructuring things, you're looking at how to make students understand this brave new world in new ways, and how to incorporate new kinds of curriculum into your classwork.